They smiled for the cameras inside a children's hospital, but within hours, those same photos were allegedly triggering a luxury dress restock frenzy behind the scenes. And now, Meghan is facing the most explosive backlash yet. The visit looked polished, gentle, almost untouchable. Children were laughing, staff were applauding, and cameras captured every carefully timed moment as Meghan moved through the ward in a cream designer outfit that instantly became the focus of global attention. At first glance, it looked like charity. It looked like compassion. It looked like a carefully curated moment of kindness. But then, something strange happened. While people were still praising the visit online, fashion watchers noticed that the exact dress Meghan wore, a piece previously marked unavailable, suddenly reappeared as back in stock across multiple luxury retail platforms. Not one, several. And the timing was so sharp, so precise, so immediate that critics began asking the question nobody in her camp wanted asked. Was the hospital visit also a shopping trigger? Within minutes, screenshots began spreading like wildfire. Only two left. Trending now. Most viewed item today. Restock due to demand. The same dress linked to Meghan's appearance was climbing charts at shocking speed. And then came the deeper twist. Users claimed that an AI-powered fashion app tied to celebrity outfit tracking had pushed instant alerts the moment Meghan's photos were uploaded. Followers allegedly received notifications telling them where to buy the look, what sizes were available, and which retailers had replenished stock. Suddenly, the warm hospital moment had transformed into something colder, sharper, and far more profitable. This is where outrage exploded, because critics were not just angry about clothes, they were angry about location. A hospital. A place associated with vulnerability, fear, recovery, children in pain, worried parents waiting in hallways. And yet the global conversation had shifted away from healing and toward hemlines, away from patience and toward price tags, away from courage and toward commerce. Social media erupted with one brutal phrase: compassion for clicks. Insiders whisper that Meghan's team did not expect the blowback to become this intense. They expected admiration. They expected headlines about grace and generosity. Instead, they got a digital riot asking whether humanitarian moments are now being converted into retail campaigns. Because once people believe a charitable visit can be monetized, every smile becomes suspicious. Every wave looks rehearsed. Every photo becomes inventory. And then came the price bomb. Reports claimed the featured look, once fully calculated with shoes, jewelry, handbag, and outerwear, totaled near $3,000. That number detonated online. Parents struggling with bills were staring at headlines about luxury fashion linked to a children's hospital appearance. Nurses working double shifts were watching influencer accounts break down the Meghan look. Critics asked, how tone-deaf can this get? While families worry about medicine and rent, the internet is being invited to admire a $3,000 moment of polished privilege. But the scandal did not stop there. Sources in fashion circles began murmuring about the so-called restock ripple. According to these whispers, once Meghan wears an item publicly, retailers rush to replenish inventory because demand spikes instantly. Normally, that is standard celebrity economics. But when the trigger point is a hospital visit, the optics become radioactive. Suddenly, it is not celebrity influence. It feels like strategic conversion. And where was Harry during all of this? Quiet. Very quiet. Too quiet, according to critics. Because silence inside a scandal can be louder than words. While backlash raged, no emotional defense arrived, no swift denial, no furious statement rejecting claims of commercial opportunism. Just the familiar wall of controlled distance. Some say the couple believes controversy fuels relevance. Others say they were blindsided and frozen. Either way, the silence added fuel. Royal watchers also noticed something else: the contrast. Whenever senior royals visit hospitals, coverage tends to focus on staff, patients, causes, donations, recovery stories. But here, algorithm culture hijacked the room. Search traffic focused on the dress. Style blogs led with brand names. Shopping links spread faster than the names of the children being helped. That imbalance created the emotional core of this scandal. Not what she wore, but what got remembered. Then, insiders dropped the nastiest rumor yet, that the photos were timed for maximum retail traffic windows across US, UK, and Australia markets. True or false, the accusation alone was dynamite, because it paints the entire moment not as service, but scheduling. Not kindness, but conversion strategy. Not compassion, but commerce science. And once that narrative lands, it is brutal to shake off. Brand experts are now whispering that Meghan faces a dangerous trap. Her fame drives sales. Sales drive headlines. Headlines require appearances. But appearances tied to emotional settings can create backlash if audiences feel manipulated. It becomes a cycle where visibility wins in the short term, but trust bleeds in the long term. And trust, once cracked, is expensive to rebuild. Meanwhile, supporters argue this is absurd hysteria. They say women are always criticized for what they wear, that fashion attention is inevitable, and that Meghan cannot control what apps or retailers do after public photos appear. They insist she showed up for children, not commerce. But critics answer with one ruthless line, then why does it keep happening? Now, palace gossip circles claim this latest controversy has only deepened private frustration across royal ranks, where image discipline is everything and perception is war. Because whether intentional or accidental, the result was catastrophic. A hospital visit overshadowed by shopping frenzy, compassion swallowed by consumerism, and another headline that refuses to die. And the most dangerous part for Meghan may be this: not that people are angry today, but that they are beginning to expect this pattern tomorrow. If every public appearance becomes a possible product launch, then every noble gesture arrives carrying suspicion. If every photo becomes a storefront, then every smile comes with a price. Within hours of the backlash, online detectives began resurfacing previous appearances where Meghan's wardrobe allegedly dominated the conversation more than the causes themselves. Charity panels remembered for coats, public visits remembered for handbags, emotional speeches remembered for jewelry. Event after event, critics claimed the same formula kept appearing: meaningful setting, elegant entrance, stunning photos, fashion frenzy, commercial ripple. Supporters called it misogyny. Detractors called it strategy. And that battle became uglier by the minute. Then came the retailer whispers. Luxury insiders allegedly claimed customer searches for Meghan hospital dress surged so hard that websites had to adjust homepage banners and restock priorities. Suddenly, the story was no longer just social media outrage. It was market reaction. Analysts say celebrity influence has always moved products, but this felt different because the emotional context was doing part of the selling. People were not just buying a dress. They were buying the image attached to it: grace under pressure, compassion in action, polished prestige in a hospital hallway. That is where critics became savage. They argued the real product was never the dress. It was the moment itself. And then a more damaging rumor exploded that some brands had prepared inventory in advance, anticipating the visit would create demand. No proof, no confirmations, just whispers. But whispers are oxygen in gossip wars. If true, it suggests planning. If false, it still creates smoke. And smoke is enough to darken a reputation already under pressure. Meanwhile, Meghan's defenders tried to reset the narrative. They pointed out that public figures cannot stop retailers from exploiting photos. They argued she visited children, brought attention to hospitals, and inspired donations through visibility. They said critics were weaponizing fashion because they had nothing real to attack. But the opposition came back with a brutal question. If the charitable mission was central, why did the dress dominate every trend list by nightfall? That question would not die. Then came the money math. Style pages estimated the full look near $3,000, some even higher depending on accessories. That figure kept being repeated because it created emotional contrast. A luxury outfit inside a place where families face fear, exhaustion, and medical uncertainty. Fair or unfair, optics matter more than intentions once the public mood turns. And right now, the optics were merciless. Some insiders claim advisors privately warned that elite glamour inside sensitive environments can be explosive in the algorithm era. Why? Because cameras no longer simply record. They convert. They scan brands, identify labels, compare prices, generate shopping links, and turn a hallway walk into a marketplace within minutes. In older eras, a hospital photo stayed a photo. In this era, it becomes commerce the second it lands online. That is why this scandal feels bigger than one celebrity. It taps into a modern fear that nothing is sacred anymore. Not weddings, not funerals, not hospital visits. Everything can be clipped, packaged, optimized, sold. Meghan simply became the lightning rod for a much wider discomfort, the collision between humanitarian imagery and influencer economics. And then, palace circles allegedly reacted with icy contempt. Not public statements, not dramatic denials, just that famous royal silence. But insiders whisper that behind closed doors, senior figures see this as proof of exactly why boundaries were drawn years ago. In their view, once titles mix with private profit, every public gesture becomes vulnerable to suspicion. suspicion. Whether fair or not, trust erodes. And trust is the monarchy's currency. That contrast became another headline war. On one side, Meghan representing modern celebrity entrepreneurship. On the other, royals clinging to old codes of service without visible monetization. The clash is bigger than personalities now. It is two models of public power fighting in real time. But there may be an even deeper danger for Meghan personally: brand fatigue. Controversy can generate clicks, but repeated controversy changes audience emotion. At first, people are curious, then entertained, then exhausted. Once exhaustion sets in, even supporters grow quiet. And silence from supporters is often more dangerous than noise from critics. Marketing experts whisper that luxury brands hate one thing above all: unstable sentiment. If a face becomes polarizing enough, sales spikes can be offset by reputational risk. Brands love buzz, but they fear backlash contagion. If consumers feel manipulated, aspirational glamour can quickly become tasteless excess. And then came the final sting. Several commentators said the hospital children will be forgotten by next week, but the dress headline will remain searchable forever. That line cut deep because it captured the emotional tragedy of the controversy. A visit intended to appear compassionate may now be remembered as commercial. A moment designed to uplift may now be archived as opportunistic. Whether deserved or not, perception writes history faster than facts. So where does Meghan go from here? If she leans harder into business, critics say she proves them right. If she pulls back, they say backlash forced retreat. If she appears in casual clothes next time, they will call it damage control. If she wears designer labels, they will call it tone deaf again. That is the trap of scandal narratives. Once formed, they interpret everything through themselves. And yet Meghan has survived storms before. That cannot be ignored. She has faced ridicule, resistance, obsession, and nonstop scrutiny for years. She understands headlines. She understands image warfare. She understands how to endure hostility while still commanding attention. That is why some believe this controversy will fade like many others. But others say something has changed. Not the criticism, the pattern recognition. Audiences now watch not just what celebrities do, but how ecosystems profit around them. Apps, affiliates, links, algorithms, timed uploads, restocks, trend pages. People see the machinery now. And once audiences see the machinery, the magic weakens. So this story may never have been about a $3,000 dress at all. It may be about the end of effortless influence, the moment glamour stops feeling glamorous because viewers can see the sales funnel behind the smile. If that happens, the real thing exposed will not be Meghan. It will be the entire celebrity economy built on pretending moments are pure while money rushes in behind the curtain.